Hey my friends, it's Big Stu here. Thanks for hanging out with me once again. And today, as you can tell, is going to be comics and pops. Volume 7 or 8, I can't remember now. And I'll look at that when I set up the video on YouTube. But it's last time we talked about pops and comics and pops, it wasn't much comics at all. So I'm going to try to do a little bit more in comics and everything, and I got all these guys kind of bobbling and moving around. So I had pick up, let me get a drink real quick, sorry. I've been really busy. I have been picking up, it's kind of weird in my face here. I have picked up some different pops recently, and I'm going to talk to you about those real quick and some upcoming stuff. Okay, first off, let me take these down so they don't fall, and then we will talk about them. I'm Big Stu again. Thanks for hanging out with me very much. Okay, so I talked to you our last video that I had picked up a Fantastic Four line, and in this line I have already gotten Human Torch and Doctor Doom because I thought they were just really cool. So I went ahead and got those. So now I've picked up, since then, I picked up The Thing and Silver Surfer, and I'm going to show those to you now. So The Thing, a lot of this artwork is based off John Byrne, who's one of my favorite artists. And a lot of it's based off his run of Fantastic Four, especially this Thing, the Human Torch, and I think pretty much all of them are involved or based off of his artwork. So I'm very happy with that. That is definitely by far my favorite run of the FF when he was on it for, I don't know, 3-4 years, maybe longer. Okay, here's Silver Surfer. He comes on a little stand. So I'll hold the stand. So pretty cool. They did have a Surfer a long time ago, and he was already vaulted, and it just didn't have a cool pose. He was just kind of like standing there with the board. But this, you got him kind of, looks like he's actually surfing, kind of leaning over a little bit. So definitely like that very much. So in that line, I still need Sue and Reed to finish the Fantastic Four. There's a villain, Mole Man. There's also the Super Skrull that they fight. That's a Skrull that has all their powers. And then there's the robot Herbie. So I'm going to pick up 5 more from that series, and then I'll be done. There is a Galactus, but I've said before, I'm going to wait till they make that Galactus like a 10-inch or bigger, and then I'll pick up that version of Galactus, because he's a giant, and I don't want the small version of Galactus. I'd rather have the giant version when it comes out later. Another thing I picked up, I buy the Spider-Man pops, and recently they've come out. They did it last year, and this year a new wave just came out. Basically a Venomized superheroes. They actually have some Venomized villains. I mean, I know there's at least a Loki one, and there might be, and there's also a Thanos Venomized. So it's basically taking, in the comics at different times, they've had the Venom symbiotes, creatures, bond with other characters, usually for a short time, usually just to do a miniseries or sell comics or a guest star of something. And in some cases, they've created characters I don't think that I even remember that's been like Venomized, you would say. Or to some extent with Carnage. You know, Carnage is the red villain. And so some of these, it reminds me of that. I guess it would be hard to say. I guess you would just say Carnage-ized. But anyway, so first off, I picked up this one. This is Miles Morales. And it's just creepy. Let me put him on the box better, where you can kind of see him. And he's just like leaning. Very creepy. So you got the liquid kind of growing up on him and stuff. So it's almost like, you know, the evil version of themselves. They get bonded with it until they can break free. Here's like a little piece, like it's covering him. So anyway, so I picked this up. I thought it was really cool. And this was actually Series 2. And also I picked up Miss Marvel. So she has her mohawk hair, which I'm not a big fan of. But you can see a little bit of her costume from behind. And I guess a little bit in the front. Her boots and stuff. And then you have her where she's been taken over by the Venom symbiote creature. So these are definitely very creepy and freaky looking things. And this was from Series 2. They actually called it Spider-Man Maximum Venom. And so in this series, they have Rocket and Groot. And I already showed those to you. Or I showed you the Groot one. And then I also showed you the... I got Rocket before. And I don't see my Rocket now to see what version that was. But there's a new Doctor Strange and the Groot. Actually, I don't think I've gotten this Groot yet because I have another version of Groot. So I'm not sure if I'm going to get this one. This is like Kid Groot with the bonding. And I have an older Groot with the bonding. So I'm not sure if I'm going to get that. But definitely I'm going to get the Doctor Strange. He looks really cool. He's kind of like levitating. So he has a little stand and it shows him like levitating. But he's very cool looking. And that's in that series. And this is actually called Spider-Man Maximum Venom series, is what it's called. Okay. So, she came off. So let me, off her stand. I bumped her. And get her back on her stand here. Okay. I move these out of the way. And then I also have an older one I came across. And actually I came across this. This was called just Venom. A Venomized Daredevil. So he's very creepy looking. And in this line, okay, this is where my Rocket and my Groot came from. Okay, in this line is Thanos, Groot at the top, Daredevil, Storm from X-Men, and then that's Rocket there, and then it's X-23, which is a female clone. They kind of call her the daughter of Wolverine, but she's basically a clone of Wolverine. And she's X-23, so it's Venomized X-23. So maybe you can see a little bit better that way. As I get closer, it gets a little fuzzier and stuff. But anyways, so this is the first series. So I've seen Thanos out. He's heavy, big and heavy. I've seen him out about. And so I need to pick him up. I need to pick Storm and her up just to have them all. So I think I'm going to try to collect all of these. There's also there's a new version of Carnage, a new version, also another one of Venom. But I have older versions of those that I think are better sculpts, and I like those better. But here's the Daredevil out of the box. So, definitely creepy. He has like the Daredevil horns. He has his billy club in his hand, and you can kind of just see it all wrapping up. And you can see the DD on his chest for Daredevil. If I can get the lighting just right, it's kind of hard to see. Yeah, it's just kind of hard to see. I don't know if I can bring it back a little bit and you can see there's the D's on his chest. It's kind of hard to make it out. But anyways, so, and I don't know. The teeth might even glow in the dark. I'm not sure. It doesn't say it, but it has that paint job on it that kind of looks like it could. So I'll have to pay attention and put it by the light and see if it'll glow in the dark. So I've been picking these up, deciding to pick these up. I'm with GameStop, and I get a coupon, $5 off every month. And so I was going to use that towards the Fantastic Four slowly, or the Venomized Pops as I come across them. So I'm going to do that basically through GameStop. And then I'm also going to, then I also get coupons just based off games I buy or my son buys. We earn, points for that. And so those, I redeemed $5 off on those. So they only cost me $7 when I, use a $5 coupon. So I can't complain on picking those up. The Daredevil was a slightly damaged box, and I got the Daredevil for $5 through my comic shop. So I can't complain on that. So it was only $5, so I went to got that. So I have over half of them. So I'm probably going to keep the Venomized line and just kind of find a spot for those and see how it goes. I've ordered through Amazon. I'll show you when it comes in, the new Iron Man Avengers line. And it's going to be, they're going to be in a circle and connect to each other. And it's going to be all the Avengers kind of back to back, backs to each other and facing out at villains. And so you have Iron Man first. Hulk is the next one, I think, coming out in March, if I'm not mistaken. And everything. So hang on a minute. Let me see if I can get something. I'll be right back. Yeah, I looked over there. It's March. And so it's my throat's just really dry. I apologize. And so that's March. And then there's going to be a Black Widow. There's a Hawkeye. There's Thor. There's Captain America. And I think that's it. I think it's basically from the very first movie. And if you've seen the trailer and stuff, and in that movie there's that scene where they're all in a circle back to back, and they're, fighting the invasion and stuff in New York. So it's a really cool scene. That's what it appears to be. I don't think it's based off the video game or anything like that. So it's just those 5 main characters that were, in the first Avengers movie. So I have that upcoming. And I think that's it. There's a couple of things here and there coming out once they hit, but there's nothing big. Still searching for a couple Spider-Man pops here and there, but overall there's, nothing huge that I know of that I'm planning on getting anytime soon. Next week is, or I don't know if it's the end of this week. I think it's next week is Toy Fair starts. Maybe it starts on Wednesday, a week from this coming Wednesday. Toy Fair starts, and I'm sure they're going to debut pops and things there at Toy Fair and let you know what's upcoming for the next 6 months or whatever, maybe at least through the summertime. And so I'm excited about that too, and about Legos and stuff, but this isn't a Lego video, so we'll talk about that later. Okay, I'm going to talk to you real quick, run through some Superman first, some different storylines going on in some of the comics. I haven't done a lot of time talking about comics. Okay, a couple months ago, because these books have been coming out twice a month, so a couple months ago, Superman revealed his secret identity. It's a storyline called Truth, and so he wanted to let the world know that he's built his identity. He wants to represent Earth, and he's created this like United Nations with planets. Basically, how we have our United Nations on Earth, he's building this coalition of united planets, basically, where all these alien species can work together instead of being at war, and the fallout affecting Earth and so forth. So therefore, he's trying to be an ambassador for Earth. Some people don't like that he's made himself Earth's ambassador, but he wanted to come out and tell everybody the truth who he was. And so there's been a few ramifications on that. And this is him also revealing it. They did several specials. One with the other superheroes where he tells them and what they kind of think about it. It was an interesting story because Batman and Wonder Woman was discussing in the Batcave and how Batman was kind of mad about it, that he's done it. And Wonder Woman basically kind of gives him a hard time, says, well, he's kind of upped you. He's done the one thing that you would never, or at least at this time in your life, would do. He's revealed his identity, or else you never would do that. Or you're not able to do that, or would never consider doing that. And so, Batman she tells him, you have a contingency for everything. Heroes go bad, you know how to take them down, or whatever it might be. You can plan for everything, but you never plan for this. Would think that he would ever reveal his identity to the whole world, which is pretty cool, interesting, and kind of a cool storyline. I mean, years back, John Byrne was doing Superman, and he revealed himself to Lois Lane, and then, they end up getting married. So this is the whole world and everything. So it'll be interesting to see, because Batman advised him it was bad because his family could be in danger and so forth. His mom, Pa Kent, in Kansas and all this stuff. So we'll see. I think Superman's feeling that nobody would dare mess with him because how powerful he is, and he would bring him to justice if they would consider to retaliate against him. So we'll see. There's another special coming out this week or next week, I believe, and with Superman the Truth revealing the villain's take on it and how the villains feel about him revealing who he is. Some people think he's been cheating because he's been a reporter and he's been reporting on himself. So there's lots of different types of things about it. Some people are excited who he is. He tells Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy Olsen tells him, I've always known for a very long time because you're the only one that calls me. He goes, I used to think there was only 2 people in the world who call me, maybe Jimmy or whatever it was. I can't remember a tagline, a nickname, Clark Kent and you. And then I realized it was just one person. You guys were both the same. And so it was funny that how he gave himself away, but not realizing it. But Jimmy knew it and never really said anything. So that was kind of cool. A few people close to him knew who he was already. So that was neat. Okay, so he reveals that. Next thing is he goes into Mongol. There's this big, huge villain. And he doesn't like the idea that Superman is doing the United Nations, basically, for planets. And he's a planet conqueror, so he's not real thrilled with that at all. So it's Superman fighting him, and then the planet is coming to help him, so forth. So that's what's going on now, and that's him fighting Mongol. Now, over in Action Comics, there's a thing that's been going on. Villains United has been this theme going on, and with the villains, and they're all gotten, I guess Legion of Doom. It's really a long story. I'll try to make it quick. Legion of Doom, with Lex Luthor in it. He's teamed up with, I forgot the girl's name, some villainess who wants to rule all the multiverses, Earth and everything. And so he wants to align himself with her because he doesn't want Earth to be destroyed, and he wants to be able to rule Earth and everything with her and stuff. So she empowered him, and this is actually Lex now in the green. She's empowered him, and he goes by Apex, I think, Lex, and he's been going around giving all these villains upgrades. And so another thing that's been going on with villains is the Batman Who Laughs, which is from the Dark Metal Multiverse, Dark Universe line, and that is basically an evil Bruce Wayne from that world who was infected by the Joker gas. On the death of Joker, he releases Joker gas on Bruce Wayne. It drives him mad, and he basically becomes a new Joker in this dark multiverse world. In Metal, they battle this multiverse world, and the Joker, the Man Who Laughs, is what his tagline is. He got trapped on this side, and so he's been trying to create his own villains, and he's infected people and making them evil. He's infected Supergirl, Shazam, Commissioner Gordon. I'm trying to think who else. A handful. Blue Beetle. And there's a handful of people he's infected. And then Shazam's infected some of his family because they get powers through him. And so there's a handful of them. So Luthor he's trying, in his way, he's trying to merge, the Batman Who Laughs is trying to merge the dark multiverse Earth into this current Earth. So that's what his agenda is. Lex Luthor's agenda is to line up with this powerful woman who wants to reshape multiverses and things like this and rule them, and so there's a clash there, and so he's trying to upgrade villains to be able to fight. And there is a miniseries going on right now called Hell Arisen, and it basically has Lex Luthor's people and his villains and some of his heroes who's been or I guess they're all villains who've been upgraded to battle Batman Who Laughs. Upgraded or infected, I guess you'd say, because he calls them infected heroes and things like that on his side. And they're going to battle each other. The end of this battle basically is the evil Bruce Wayne Joker guy is going to win. And it's going to go into Metal 2, which is this summer's big, starting in May, big miniseries. And it's going to deal with the world's lost, and the heroes are going to try to have to get it back from the dark multiverse and everything. So that's what's going on leading up to all that. In Justice League, which I wasn't really thrilled with it, Scott Snyder run ended. Let's see, 38. Maybe I didn't have it here with me. I don't have it with me, I guess. But 38 it ended, or 39 it ended. Snyder's ended this run. And this is battling Lex Luthor and this woman. And I can't remember her name. She has a weird name. And they're battling. And I don't necessarily see it here. But anyways, so they're battling her. And basically Justice League is going to lose against her. Which is going to be the villains are going to win, basically. And that's setting up the whole Metal and setting up Metal 2 and all this stuff that's going on right now. And then Snyder has left that to go do that. So Vendetti's come in, and he's writing a new story. And I'm talking about the impact of losing and different things, what's going on in the series. But this is a new storyline going on with the new writer and stuff. It's touching up on it loosely and all, but it's basically, a separate storyline going on and stuff. But the art's good. It's by Mankey. So It's pretty good art with that. Just like now, go over to Batman real quick. Batman tied up. We had King's tied up his whole City of Bane storyline with Batman. He defeated Bane. Out of this, of course, Alfred died, is dead until the universe gets relaunched or something. But he's dead. Then that ended that whole King's line. He's doing a line with Catwoman and Batman later on. It hasn't been solicited yet, and I don't know. It's been delayed. So it's supposed to be like a 12-issue miniseries, basically him and Selena Kyle together. So in this run now, we have Tinian's taking over for Batman, at least through issue 100. He might stay longer, but they're building up to that. Rumors are Batman is going to step down at issue 100, and Batman's Joker knows Batman's identity, basically, in this line. And you got a war going on with the Riddler a little bit, and the Joker, and stuff. They're throwing all kinds of people, Deathstrokes in this, to hunt Batman down. So you got a lot of stuff going on, but the rumors are that possibly Joker is going to reveal that Batman is actually, or Bruce Wayne is actually Batman. Just like Superman's revealed his identity, Batman is going to get basically outed. And he's going to retire from being Batman, and there's going to be a new Batman taking over after issue 100. And after the whole Meadow line and everything, they're supposed to be going into Age of Heroes, this new thing called G5, Generation 5. And we'll talk about that later on, where it's going to be like a next generation of heroes for a while. We'll be taking on the mantle. There'll be Superman's son's going to be the new Superman. The guy who's currently was Batwing, Fox's son, is going to be the new Batman. And so it's going to be different things like that. There's going to be a new Wonder Woman, which isn't going to be, Diana Prince is going to be somebody new. So everybody like Flash is going to be, a relative or somebody else is going to be Flash. So it's going to be a new generation of heroes taking on the mantle. I don't know how long it's going to last, maybe 1 year, whatever. But they're calling that G5, Age of Heroes, like the 5th generation to some extent. But anyways, so that's what's upcoming with DC. DC's already started Legion of Superheroes relaunch. I've been enjoying it. There's some things that they've done, diversify certain characters, a few things. I'm not so thrilled with some of the costume changes and things that they've done. But overall, I'm happy to see Legion of Superheroes back. Always been a favorite book of mine. So I'm hoping they will survive for a while. Bendis is doing it. We'll see. Bendis sometimes tries to hit all the points to be inclusive to all types of races, cultures, sexualities, and so forth. So I'm not always thrilled with those types of things. I don't want a comic that's full of agenda-oriented either. But anyway, so we'll see how it goes. If he gets a little political with it, then I'll probably drop it. I do not want politics and stuff into my comics, because most of these people sling a little bit towards the left, and I'm very conservative. I do not, I want to be entertained and, not made feel guilty or be pressured, by somebody else's views. Okay, some honorable mentions of some books. New Suicide Squad came out. It was okay. It's not bad. I'm going to wait for my DC app to carry it. They run a few months behind, so I'll wait till then. They started up with Harley Quinn because of the new Birds of Prey movie coming out. A book I've always enjoyed, or characters I've always enjoyed, they're called the Meadowmen. And they have a miniseries right now. I think this is 12 issues, if I'm not mistaken. And by Dan Didio. And this is... and every few years they get a mini-series or something, but they're one of my favorite characters, the Meadowmen. And they're based off the different elements. You got iron, you got gold, you got mercury, lead, and so forth. And they have the powers and properties. Another book been interesting in is Flash Forward. This is Wally West. With the new relaunch, he was outside of time and continuity. He remembers how things used to be as a Flash, but nobody else does. He's not married anymore. He doesn't have children in the new world, so it's been driving him crazy trying to find out how to get his life back, basically. And then part of him is leading into metal and what he's going to be doing with that. And he's been traveling different multiverses and trying to get some help or whatever and figuring out what they're going to do with that. So this is basically all DC. Here's some Marvel X-Men stuff real quick. So we got a new miniseries, X-Men and Fantastic Four. A miniseries that deals with Reed's son, who is a mutant, and he's trying to keep them from getting all roped in with the mutants and want them to stay with the Fantastic Four, not necessarily become an X-Men or hang out with them. So Dr. Doom gets involved at the end, so I'm not really sure what the whole conflict is going on, but they are having a conflict, but it's basically over his son. X-Men's finally up to issue 6 by Hickman. It's been going really, really slow, been enjoying it, a lot of stuff going on. Hopefully next issue we're going to learn a little bit about the resurrection of the certain characters. And it's really, I've been talking about Hickman for a while with the X-Men. It's been a total relaunch. I've been enjoying that. Excalibur, latest issue. Kitty Pryde seems to have been killed, and she's not allowed on the island or transport. There's some talk that she's not a mutant necessarily, and possibly, and she might not be able to be resurrected. It looks like she's not going to be resurrected at all. So we'll see how that goes. And I got something in my eye. Okay, anyways, so that's the storyline that's going on in Excalibur and stuff. And then you have X-Force, which started off with the first issue of Xavier being assassinated. Then he was resurrected, and Domino was taken, and she's got all injured and everything, and she still is dealing with healing and stuff, and her body is kind of really messed up. And then she's finding a reverse version of herself she's battling. Kind of like a reverse Domino. If you see the front cover, she's white and black. This one's black with the white. So I'm keeping the X-Force, keeping the X-Men. Marauders is what deals with Kitty Pryde, and Kitty Pryde died in this book. So that's a whole mystery about her origins, what she is, and are they able to bring her back and so forth. And on the Marauders, she's on a ship, and she travels to smuggle out mutants from unhappy countries and things like that. So that book ties in a lot. I feel like Marauders, X-Force, Excalibur, and X-Men all tie in really knit close together. So that's why I'm reading those books. Now, I did start also the first storyline of New Mutants and Fallen Angels. These I'm not continuing. I didn't feel like they were tightly connected to everything. And I've just never been a big fan of New Mutants. Speaking of New Mutants, they have a movie coming out that was delayed several years now from Fox, and it's coming out in March, and it's based off the characters of New Mutants at the theaters. It looks pretty cool, kind of scary, but, you know, it's probably a dead franchise because now Marvel has them all, and Marvel will recast and insert the X-Men into their universe, you know, a few years down the road now. Fallen Angels deals with some of the other X characters. You have a younger Cable, you have Psylocke, and so forth. And I'm just not interested in those types of characters at all. X-Men is expanding, so that's why I dropped those 2 books. There's a Wolverine book coming out this month, and so I'll check out the new solo Wolverine book. And I think Cable is even getting his own series too. And I think also March they're adding another Mutant X-Men team, and it's basically supposed to be the original X-Men. I think it's called Children of the Atom. If not mistaken, it's basically going to be the core original X-Men in that team. So it's really expanding pretty big. Concerned about X-Men books might be getting too big. I mean, you almost, you know, get 3 books a month almost at this point, or 3 books a week almost at this point on an average, 2 to 3 a week. So I have a feeling some of these maybe will drop. Fallen Angels I can see drop to make room for some of these other books. Plus they have some specials coming out too that deals with Sabretooth. There's one with Magneto. I think there's one with Jean Grey. One-shots too that are coming out. I'm not really reading those. I'm waiting for those to hit the app. But I'm very happy with what's going on. I just feel like the main X-Men book by Hickman is very late and delayed, primarily because of the artist. And I'm hoping they'll get another artist to kind of go back and forth so we can get some more of the core stuff, what's going out. There's so much stuff that's been covered, but they haven't really been able to delve into it really deeply yet. You got lots of mysteries, lots of small storylines starting up, but, you know, we need more, really, more story. So, so we're aware. I feel like some of these other side books, we're learning more stuff because I feel like his book is kind of been delayed and so forth. It's an issue behind everybody, so they're trying to rectify that to get everything caught up. But anyways, I've definitely been enjoying that. Spider-Man, I love Spider-Man, but I've not been buying any Spider-Man because I've been waiting for the app on Spider-Man. There's a lot of stuff going on there, Maximum Carnage and Venom and all that, but I've been waiting for the app on that. So that's about it. Gone a little longer than I had planned. Our next week's video is going to be Legos and a few things I've picked up. And also from China, I never showed you, I believe I never really went in detail on the individual figures that I ended up picking up. So we will discuss that. And then I'll show you some of the different things that I'm doing. My next project I'm in is the Assembly Square. And it consists of 3 buildings and a fountain. And I'm on the ground floor of building that right now currently. So, but we'll discuss that in the next video. Thanks for hanging out with me. Sorry it was so long and I talked fast and did as much as I could. But thanks, friends. Be kind to each other, and I'll catch you later to the next video. Bye.